Sorry for the English, I'm French. That's a disclaimer.
Hmm.
How can a man that has not grown up with the confidence and trusting male role models and mentors, sort of anti-Uncle Jake persons, only intellectual? I'm saying this without disrespect to these people. How can they become a confident man and develop the necessary man skills, quote unquote?
Okay. It's interesting you can say man skills in quotes.
Yeah.
And I think we pretty much know what that means, right?
Yes.
Like we know what that means. So how do you do that? You don't have any positive role model around you that's like an Uncle Jake, which by the way, most people don't have an Uncle Jake.
Yeah.
Right? That's not normal to have Uncle Jake. Most people, you got what you got. And in this case, he's saying he's got like the intellectuals. So, my parents were college professors and they don't have any of these skills and they sit around and talk about philosophy, right? Now I can talk about philosophy well, but I can't fix my car.
Yeah.
Or I can't defend myself in a combat scenario in the streets. So what are you going to do? Okay, this is real simple. Go do things. Go do things. Start lifting weights. Learn how to deadlift. Learn how to squat.
Yep.
That's part about being a man, right?
Sure. Physically strong.
Yeah, physically strong. Learn some jiu-jitsu. I recommend that. Probably could have guessed that one.
Yeah.
Learning how to fight. Learning how to defend yourself. I just got asked this the other day. A kid came up to me. He's like, what should I do if I get intimidated by other people and I don't know how to react when people like get in my face? And I said, do you train jiu-jitsu? No. Start training jiu-jitsu. But then what? I'm going to fight everyone? No. You don't have to because you already know you can beat them up.
Right.
Now, if they attack you, yeah, you can beat them up. But if they are just getting in your face and trying to punk you and you look at them and go, hey, if you want to do this, let's do this, but I don't care.
Yeah.
I know you can come to my gym. I'll choke you out. Train some jiu-jitsu. So we got that one. Run, hike, sprint, climb, build things. Start building things. Rewire things. Do some plumbing. These things are not, they're not impossible to do. Now, it's going to take you longer, right? Like I've rewired my parts of my house. I've replumbed parts of my house, so done all the plumbing in parts of my house. Now, if you watch a skilled electrician do what I'm doing, it would literally take him 1/8 of the time, maybe 1/4 of the time, because or like the drywaller we were talking about earlier. A good drywaller, they are like masters. A good electrician, masters. A good plumber, they're smooth. Me, it's going to take a while.
Sure.
So, but what I'm saying is it's not impossible.
Yeah.
It's not impossible to do. And it'll take you more time, but you're learning how to do it. And that gives you, what does that give you? It gives you the self-reliance, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I can fix my electrical outlet if I need to.
Yeah.
So those are good things. Work on your car. Change your oil. Whatever. Do those things.
Yeah.
And again, those things, like I took electricity class in high school.
Sure.
Where we learned how to wire rooms and everything.
Is that what it's called? Electricity
It was called
class?
electricity class.
Right on.
I took electricity with Scotty was the teacher's name.
Sure. Wait, you called him Scotty?
Everyone called him Scotty. He was an older guy.
Yeah.
His name was Scotty. We all called him Scotty.
Sweet.
So Scotty, but we learned how to wire houses and all that. Well, I didn't remember any of that. When I was now 20 years later or 15 years later, I'm rewiring my kitchen which I ripped out of my house. Okay, so what did I do? You know what I did? Went down to Home Depot. I bought a book called Electrical Wiring. And I read through it and I followed the directions. Yeah. Same thing with plumbing.
Yeah.
Go down, buy a book called How to Do Plumbing. And you do it. And the good thing about this stuff is it's very satisfying to do that kind of work. Right?
Yeah.
It's very satisfying to do it. And you can over-engineer things. You make things super solid in your own house, super secure, super, you can just kind of go the extra distance because it's your own house. So that's cool. So those are all physical things and some kind of knowledge things that you can start working on. Well, the hardest thing to overcome here is like a level of embarrassment.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, how
like,
so?
Like, I don't know anything about wiring.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'm embarrassed to say I don't know anything about wiring.
Yeah, that's true.
And so people don't want to say anything, so they'd rather just say, hey, well, let's get an electrician in here to figure this one out.
Yeah.
Or, hey, I'll just get, yeah. So they're too embarrassed. But if you have time, do it yourself.
Yeah.
And don't be embarrassed about it. Be like, hey, I'm rewiring my kitchen. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Give me this book.
Yeah.
What do I need to get? Oh, give me some tools. It's good to have good tools.
Yeah.
Also, so that's like I said, those are things that you can do. You know, learn to shoot. You know, learn to shoot. That's a good skill to have. Also, read. Right? Read about history. Read about survival. Read about the world. Read about human beings under duress. Mm-hmm. Read books. Good books. About good stuff. About challenges. And then just like Mark in Way of the Warrior Kid, he doesn't know his times tables. He has to learn them. You have to go learn. All the stuff I'm talking about, you have to go learn. Mm. And with time, your confidence is going to grow. And from humility, you'll grow into being more confident. Now, you also say you don't have any mentors or role models around you. That's okay, because those mentors and role models are in books, and you can find them. I just talked about David Hackworth. Good mentor to have. Imagine you can have a guy wrote you a 1,000-page book on how to lead, and it's for you. That's pretty awesome. Beyond Band of Brothers by Dick Winters. Mm-hmm. Guess what? Here's a guy that was in charge of the Band of Brothers in Normandy. And he wrote a book for you to learn how to lead. So those are some examples. And like I said, most of the books that we've covered on this, or many of the books that we cover on this podcast, give you a mentor better than anyone could possibly hope for.
Yeah.
So you can get it there. But and we mostly cover war books, but there's books about all kinds of people that can be virtual mentors. So read, study, do. That's my advice on that one.
Yeah, that physically strong thing is, in my opinion, a big deal. Because especially with intellectual types and that kind of environment, since that's not really a priority a lot of the time, you tend to, how like you're not into something, so you kind of shun it as a result.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah.
You know, like, and I've seen this, I'm not saying all the time, but, sometimes the intellectual...
I don't like takedowns, so I'm not going to do them.
Yeah, and then you think of all the reasons why you don't need to do it, and how guys focus too much, or whatever. So in intellectual circle, we'll say those circles, sometimes you'd be like, oh yeah, those meatheads or whatever, sure. They'll shun it.
Are you sensitive about that issue?
Nah. Am I? No. Yeah, maybe. No, I don't think so, actually. Yeah. But they'll do that. Yeah. And then there'll be these physically frail people, but since they're in their mind smarter than everyone, they feel like they have the one up, and they're there's an element of satisfaction there. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you're physically weak when it comes down to it. And I think most of the time, I don't know, but it seems like most of the time they'll have these feelings like this guy asked right here. Like, man, how can I develop? Because I feel it.
Yeah. Yeah. Unless they just want to be in denial.
Right. That's what exactly. But when you're in denial, you feel it.
And by the way, the same thing happens in the reverse. Right?
Yeah, yes,
a guy 100%. That's just a meathead, he shuns and disrespects or disregards the intellectual side of things. Yep. And that is equally as bad because they don't know what's going on. They're not knowledgeable. They're not learning. They don't understand the world in a clear way. So find the balance between those two things.
Yeah.
What's great is those things are not mutually exclusive. Like, you don't have to just be a meathead or just have to be a bookworm.
Right.
You can do both. There's plenty of time in the day to do both. Be a smart ass guy with a big deadlift. That's a good thing. Yes, I'm trying to be that guy.
Yeah.
Not there yet, but I'm working on it.
Yeah, and then that one level up, which is the jiu-jitsu part of it. Here's the thing too. I was thinking about jiu-jitsu.
Oh yeah, well, jiu-jitsu combines the intellectual piece with the physical piece. Yeah,
and in a way, you can kind of... I'm not recommending this at all. In fact, I'm against this, but this is the nature of jiu-jitsu. You don't have to be that, you don't have to have a big deadlift to dominate in jiu-jitsu.
For sure.
You don't have to do any of that. So you can essentially overcome the physical part of it.
Yes, you
even
can.
though jiu-jitsu is physical, but it's you don't have to
You
be
can overcome
a
the physical
person.
part of it for it to a point.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
in everyday life, I mean, you're trying to be the guy. Like if someone's better than you at jiu-jitsu in the training room,
Yeah.
it really bothers you.
Are you talking about everyone, or are you
No.
just talking about me?
You, Jocko.
It doesn't bother me.
Well, let's say it motivates you. I don't know. You
It doesn't bother me.
Right.
I
Okay.
mean, like for instance, I train with Dean Lister all the time.
Yeah.
He's better at me than jiu-jitsu.
Right.
I every day want to train with him.
Right.
So it doesn't bother me.
Yes. Not bother, but like, I don't know, compels you.
It compels me.
Like,
yeah.
No,
maybe it does. Like I hate it.
at the end
Is
of
that
the
bothering?
day, deep down,
Yeah.
it depends on what you mean by bother.
It's
but
funny.
You know what
I
I'm
hate
saying.
it. I do. I hate it, and I love it. And
Right.
we were just joking about it the other day because we got into a little scrap yesterday.
Yeah.
Kind of
Sure.
end of training, and all of a sudden things got escalated.
Sure. Yeah, man. I know.
And there was some shouting going on, and
Shouting. Oh,
shouting.
dang.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was saying what he says, and I was saying what I say, and but we had a mutual truce at the end.
Sure.
I think he didn't really want any more. I didn't really want any more, so we just kind of said let's laugh and call it good, because you're rolling the dice.
Yeah.
When I'm rolling with Dean, there's a dice roll happening, because if he ends up in a good position on me, there's gonna be pain. There's gonna be pain.
Yeah.
If I end up in a good position on him, there's gonna be pain. So I think both of us, we got away a little bit unscathed. Neither one of us got a really good position, and I got back up to my feet, and then we both kind of just had a mutual agreement, an unspoken agreement that we were done for the day.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Yeah, I can dig it. See how that happens. But the point there being is, almost like in this weird way, how like intellectually you can excel, so you can kind of find it justifiable to avoid the physical part of it. It's almost like you could almost say the same thing about jiu-jitsu. You could still be effective in defending yourself without be physically strong necessarily.
Right.
But
my point is that there's a limitation to that. Like,
ultimately,
if you can be unbelievable at jiu-jitsu, but if you're really, really weak and you go against someone that's really good at jiu-jitsu, but they're a hell of a lot stronger than you, you're gonna have some issues.
Right, yeah, and that goes for everything.
You got to be both.
Yeah, ideally, and that's ultimately the main point, is just like how intellectually you can be, a black belt, and you can sort of, in a way, get away with not necessarily being this physically opposing people, and vice versa. And then jiu-jitsu is like that third element. You can sort of get away with not being super strong, but still be effective in jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? So ideally, just
it's
like how you
somewhere
said,
in the middle.
Yeah, get that balance.
I hear what you're saying.
But being able to defend yourself is a whole nother thing than being physically strong. Seems obvious, but when you go through life, I think it's not, because you get these like big jack guys, and it's like no one wants to mess with him. Well, bro, this medium to small guy who knows jiu-jitsu or knows these, for real fighting stuff is way more of a, I don't want to say dangerous, but ultimately way more dangerous than this big jack guy who can lift a lot.
For sure.
So it's that third element that are kind of like...
Isn't it weird when you roll with somebody that's super jacked and they don't know jiu-jitsu?
Yes.
And it's amazing. It's like amazing.
Yeah.
You just think to yourself, how is this happening?
Yeah.
This is the magical power.
Yeah.
Because you look at a big jack guy, your human instincts tell you, look out.
Yeah, he's gonna.
That person is stronger than you.
Yeah.
Watch out. But when you know jiu-jitsu, you weird. Don't. And eventually, you realize you don't even have that anymore.
Yeah.
Everyone you're looking at thinking.
Wait, you don't have what? Oh, you don't have.
You don't have the instinct of fear. You don't have that instinct of fear.
Right.
Although you're still my first thought when I look at someone is like, do they train or not?
Yeah.
Do they train or not? If they train, we may have issues. This could be a problem. If they don't train, no factor.
Yeah.
No train, no factor.
Yeah.
If they train, may have a factor. That's why I got to work out hard. That's why I got to be strong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they might be coming to take my lunch money.
Maybe.
Right?
You never know.
Don't want that.
Bro, how's this? Literally last night.
I didn't see. Do you train last night?
I did not train last night.
Oh,
this is a real world experience. So the 5-gallon jugs of water. Those big you put in the water cooler or whatever. So there's like a little refilling thing that I went to. Like, it was like
You've told this story before.
No, there's another one. This happened last night.
Dang.
So
hazardous duty.
I know, man.
Water refilling of the jugs.
Yeah, I know. Okay, I mentioned I do that.
Okay.
Right. So last night when I was doing that, I was refilling the jugs. I go in the store. I'm coming out, walking to my truck to get the empty jugs to go to the little thing. As I'm walking to my truck, a car pulls up right next to the water filling thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's what's called a red box. You know what that is? It's a DVD red rental DVDs. Thing. Yeah. Yep. So car pulls up. A kid, maybe 12 years old, jumps out of the car. He starts like,
was he yoked?
Normal kid, whatever. And from in the car, there's a male, probably his dad, someone, maybe his stepdad, really. And immediately the dad starts yelling at him. Mm-hmm. Like, just put it in the thing, and just to the point where I thought he was kind of joking. Mm-hmm. Because I'll joke with my daughter like that. I'll be like, kind of like how you'll do sometimes.
I do that.
Yeah,
sometimes
you'll get and it sounded like a joke.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, bro, this guy's serious. And the kid is like, you could tell he was kind of used to it. You know, he was like, I'm trying, whatever. Yeah. And that kind of the whole parking lot could hear. Yeah. And this is at nighttime. Just to give you a setting. So I'm walking to my truck. I'm like, bro, if I get to this place and this guy's still there, not even yelling, I'm there, I'm going to have to say something. Not be a dick. Not be like, hey, don't talk to him like that. I'm going to try to solve this problem. Mm-hmm. Be like, hey, this kid, whatever. I had this little thing. Before I knew jiu-jitsu or anything like that, I wouldn't have messed with it. I would have, even being like big or whatever and strong, I would have been like, oh man, that sucks.
You never know what that guy's got going on.
Yeah. But man, I was like, man, I'm going to do this. So I grabbed her and they left. So I didn't get the opportunity. But I'm just saying, these are things that can happen on varying levels every day. Yeah. And if you're an intellectual type, and I'm not saying if you're an intellectual, but if you don't have these elements of whether it be skill or knowledge or whatever, like those things mess with you, You're like, dang, I can't
when I didn't know jiu-jitsu,
incapable.
And when I figured out what jiu-jitsu was, when Master Chief Steve Bailey choked me, and he was an old man at the time, probably 3 years younger than I am right now. And I was thinking to myself, how did this guy just do this to me? That's insane. That's completely insane. I need to learn whatever he knows. Yeah. Teach to me whatever you know, because I don't want to feel that way ever.
Bro, and then you're training it, like, let's say you train for 5 years. For 5 years, you're training not against people who don't know. You're training against people who do know. Yeah. Dangerous people who do know, like, how to defend your shit. And then you go in the real world.
What's happening?
Yeah, this guy has no idea how much control you have over him. And you didn't even touch him.
Yeah. I see. Yeah. It's totally true.
So, yeah, this whole thing where, I mean, your thing about his problem was like when people get in his face or whatever. His problem wasn't getting beat up. It was when people get in your face and how you react and how you feel and stuff. Bro, that feeling, gone.
Yeah, because you're right. You're 100% right, because he said he wasn't scared of fighting. He was saying, like, I might get in trouble. He didn't like how he felt. He felt like he should do something, and he felt like a wimp, basically. Yeah. When you know that you can destroy someone, then it doesn't matter. Yeah. You just think they're an idiot. Yeah. You beat them. You get the strength and the skills, and you actually beat them on an intellectual level.
Boom. So it's like a double gravitational effect on that one.
All right.
So yeah, if you can get those three, intellectual, psychological, whatever, mental, physical, and skill-wise defending yourself, bro, that's the three right there.
It's good stuff.
And now it's just how hard you want to hit it, really.
You want to hit it hard.
I think so, too. It's very beneficial to hit it hard.